Hey guys, this is the Unit 2, Lesson 2 measurements video. Again, this is a lot of review. I think some of it might be kind of new. So our guiding questions: what system of measurement do scientists use? What is distance? How do we measure it? What is mass? How do we measure it? What is volume? How do we measure it? And what is density? And how do you measure it? So those are the things we need to answer. What system of measurement do scientists use? So in the United States, we use the standard system. However, that is only used in a few places. Most of the world uses the metric. You can see here the blue. This is everyone else in the world uses the metric system. Scientists use something called SI units, the International System of Units. It is a variation of the metric system that is used everywhere. And so it's interesting that like Kelvin's on here, but we measure in Celsius a lot. So we mostly use the metric system in our science class, but the SI units are all of these. So what are the SI units? Just quick overview. I'll move me out of the way. So distance, we use meter. Mass, we use gram. Volume, we'll use liter or cubic centimeter. Density, grams per milliliter, or the unit of mass per unit of volume. So distance, that is the length between one position or one point to another. We're going to use centimeters, meters, kilometers, or millimeters, and we use a meter stick to do that. Here is just a quick review. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So a meter stick has 100 centimeters in it, and 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. And so that's what's nice about the metric system is it all uses base of 10. And so 1 centimeter, do I have it on here? Oh, okay. So 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. And so each of these smallest lines, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, I take that back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 1/2 of a centimeter is 5 millimeters. So these longer, taller lines are millimeters. Also, each centimeter, each line here is 0.1 centimeters. So here's an example. This red line, it goes to right here. So what would that be? So think to yourself, you want to pause the video and try to figure out how many centimeters and how many millimeters you are. That is, go ahead and do that. Okay, I'll tell you the answer. So right here would be 2.3 centimeters. So it is right here is 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3 centimeters. It's also 23 millimeters. So this would be 10, 20, 21, 22, 23. So it's 23 millimeters. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. We'll use grams, kilograms, use a scale. Volume is the amount of space something takes up. So you can use liters, milliliters, also cubic centimeters. So that's a graduated cylinder, that's a beaker. Graduated cylinders can help you measure liquid volumes. So do you know how to read a graduated cylinder? I have some help videos for that if you're not really sure. So in this particular example, this would be 60, and what's in between 60 and 80 is 70. And so then this would be counting by 2. So 62, 64, 66, 68, 70. So this would be at 68 right there. So determine the scale. So how much each line represents. I kind of just showed you. That's what I did there. And then check that your answer makes sense. So if you count up and it doesn't make sense, then your scale is probably wrong and you should change that. Volume can also be found using math. Maybe you've done this before with an equation. So most objects have an irregular shape and need other methods to find volume. So if you don't have a perfect shape and it's not a liquid, how do you know what the volume is? So here's what it says. Most objects have an irregular shape. How do you find the volume of it? Well, one method is called the displacement method. So here we have a little T-Rex toy. It's not a regular shape. We can't measure its length times width times side. But if you have a graduated cylinder, you can see how much water is there now, and then how much is there after you add the toy. And so that is called the displacement method. So you find your initial volume, you add the object, find the final volume, subtract it, and that tells you how much the volume of this guy is. Density is the amount of matter in a given volume. So here is a low density object. Here is very high density. You find density by finding the mass divided by the volume. So you find the mass of an object, you find the volume of the object, you can find the density. The units of density are the unit of mass per unit of volume. So if birds can do science, so can you. Okay. Practice makes perfect. Do the worksheets at the stations. If you are stuck or need help, watch the other videos. If you are doing the practice worksheets and you're getting it wrong, watch the video and I can help you too.